this is a practice, okay? So a lot of people will think, well, once I'm aware of my brilliance, right? So once I intellectually know it's there, once I like discover it somehow, then I'm just going to always be in my brilliance, like exuding brilliance all the time, right?
I've arrived.
I've arrived. You know, I'm probably one of those people that some people want to slap, right?
Yeah.
Because you're just like, oh, for God's sake, you know? But whatever it is. But and it's for most of us a practice, okay? Because just like with embodying your big S self, you also have your little S self. So the big S self, for those of you who don't know, is the part of the self that's identified with spirit, or the infinite, indestructible consciousness that you are. The little S self is that which is identified with the ego mind. Okay? Or humanness.
Humanness.
Yes,
okay.
yeah. So your mind, well, creates all kinds of challenge. Okay, as we all know. Okay, so in any case, it's a practice. I mean, you know, like you are human. It's okay to be human, right? So, you know, people always, when they start, want to move away from the suffering of human, which I can understand because a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah.
You know, it represents pain, it represents suffering, it represents heaviness. They don't want to be it. But the thing is, as you start to discover your brilliance, you start to celebrate your humanness. Okay, because it's a really, I know it sounds, for people who are in a dark place, that can sound really irritating. Sure. However, you really can. Just like that moment where you're skipping around the room, because what you were starting to embody was your brilliance. You could feel it within you, and that skipping was that celebration of your human, you know, because you're just in motion, like enjoying that freedom of a skip, which is a very playful thing to do, actually.
Yeah.
And so my point simply is that it's a practice, right? You come back to being aware of your brilliance again and again and again. And the more you make that choice to be aware of your brilliance, to keep your eye on it as opposed to like the drama, the external chaos, the whatever it is happening around you, and you keep your eye on your brilliance, it will, because you're doing it in the face of like that kind of pressure, it's a strengthening, because you're like, no, I am bringing my attention to what's important. Okay, because your brilliance, again, is a reflection of your connection to pure source, or your reflection of your awareness of your connection to pure source. So you're like, I'm going to keep my eye on what is important, because you do that in the intensity of that polarity of whatever it is that you experience that can be heavier. It's like an act of power. You're like, I am bringing myself into my highest resonating order now, okay? By being aware of your brilliance. You may not express it as all those words that I just strung together, but when you experience it, that's what you're doing.